Glad to be joined by Brad Cromus. He is the Cuyahoga County Treasurer, and it is that time of year, unfortunately. Nobody likes to think about paying taxes, but it's something you have to do to keep services running in your community, whether it's police, fire, or your school districts. That's the majority of where your money goes when you start paying property taxes. Brad, we've been doing stories for a few months now. We've even seen laws passed down in Columbus trying to get property tax relief for people because, bottom line, property valuations, the value of your property has skyrocketed. We've seen what the market is like out there. That means what your home is worth is more. That means what you have to pay in taxes is more. Are people going to be sticker shocked when they see their property taxes this year?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. And hopefully this year we shouldn't see as much sticker shock as we experienced last year. Our valuation impact really hit the prior year. So there will still be that increase, but it should be pretty similar to what it was in 2025. That, of course, is with the caveat that if your local school district or some other taxing authority passed a new levy, you will see those impacts on the tax bill. So that's always a possibility for an increase there.
So that's great news. And let's talk about, we briefly discussed earlier, uh, every community is different. As you said, if your school district passed something, if your libraries have some sort of property tax addition, that's going to be different for every community. But what was maybe the range last year that was so shocking, and what might the range be this year?
Yeah, we averaged a 35% valuation increase last year, which is a pretty shocking and large number. Fortunately, there's a provision of Ohio law called House Bill 920 that functions to keep those increases down on the actual tax bill itself. So the average is somewhere in the neighborhood of a 10% increase across the county. Obviously, recognizing that is still substantial in many cases, and that many people, because it is parcel by parcel, neighborhood by neighborhood, will see a larger increase than that. So we're certainly sensitive to those considerations, and we're ready to help people where we can if they want to contact us and get some assistance.
And you're the treasurer, you're the numbers guy. I'm not. That's why I went into journalism. I hate numbers. But can you explain to people really what is going on? What happened last year? Why are we seeing another 10% this year? What is going on?
Well, so generally in Ohio, there is a process that happens every 3 years and then again every 6 years where we are required by law to revalue the properties in our county. So every 3 years that happens kind of by virtue of an algorithm that is run. And then every 6 years, we have appraisers that physically go out and look at every parcel in the county to assess the condition of those properties. So, that's really the big impact there. And again, in addition to voted changes that have taken place. What people can do now, if they're interested in challenging their valuation, starting on January 1st and through March 31st of this year, if you feel that the value on your property is overly high or isn't consistent with the market in your area, you can file a complaint with the Board of Revision. There's a process for doing that on the county's website, and you would need to provide some evidence as to why the valuation is wrong. The board would then schedule a hearing with you to make a determination and potentially, make an adjustment to your valuation to reflect the actual value.
So that's one thing, one option people have. Let's talk about the option of, okay, it's time for me to pay my taxes. And what if I just don't have the money? It's a lot higher last year. It's higher again this year. What happens in that situation? Am I going to lose my home?
Yeah, so we want to make sure that people are aware that in the vast majority of cases, you're not losing your home because you're late once. This is a situation where we stand ready to help. So if you find yourself after receiving the tax bill in a position where you feel like you can't pay it, our best advice is always to reach out to our office and contact us. Our first conversation with you will be to make sure whether you are receiving all of the reductions that you're eligible for. So, for instance, if you're a senior over age 65 and your income is below $41,000 a year, you might qualify for the homestead exemption. We've also got a program called the Taxpayer Assistance Program for those people who are already tax delinquent and who are aged and have lower incomes. So there's a number of programs that we can provide to assist folks with. The number one piece of advice is to make whatever payment you can and then get in a conversation with us to make sure that we're able to get you on a payment plan and catch you up over time. So, our staff are ready to help with that. We've got a number of ways to do that and some flexibility on the payment plans we're able to offer. And again, our counsel is just to make sure people are reaching out to us because we're here to do that.
And I think we've seen that, boy, I think back to the recession and when we were dealing with mortgage companies, they were saying, look, that's the important part. You can't just say, well, I can't pay it and you throw the letter away. You've got to be proactive about it. You've got to contact the office. You can't just think that this is going to go away. That's where you really get into trouble.
Yeah, we understand that it's scary, and so I want to make sure folks understand that we're here to help. The other thing that we've got available, we have a relationship with a number of housing counseling agencies in our community, Benjamin Rose, Community Housing Solutions, and others. And that's one of the things that we tend to do if someone is in a position where they're struggling or feeling the pinch. We work proactively with those organizations to get people to sit down, set a budget, and think through, where housing costs kind of fit into that and where property taxes are part of that equation. And generally speaking, folks leave those conversations with a plan that they can feel comfortable with going forward.
Yeah, and that's what we want. That's ultimately what the county wants is as long as you stay in your house, that means somebody is paying property taxes. That's a good thing rather than a property sitting dormant or going vacant. Brad Cromus with the Cuyahoga County Treasurer's Office. Anything else you want to add in the topic before we end here?
Yeah, I just want people to know that they should start looking for their tax bills online right now. And then if you were waiting for a paper copy of the bill, those should start showing up in mailboxes next week. And as I said a couple of times already, if you have a concern about being able to pay, we are here to help. We want to assist. Please give us a call. Don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll be happy to give you a hand.
Excellent. Brad, we certainly appreciate the time today. Good luck collecting taxes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.